Good morning, everybody, and welcome, and a Happy New Year to you all. We'll go straight into the agenda for today's Cabinet. Apologies.
Good morning, Chairman. I have two apologies for today's meeting, Councillor Higgins and Councillor Large.
Thank you. Are there any declarations of interest in accordance with Standing Order 16? No. And decisions announced on the meeting held on December 17th of last year. Are we all approving on the minutes? Yes. Oh, we have one.
Yeah.
Councillor Mason?
Under mine, it said I'd identified that 4.99% would be the future, are the words used. Actually, what I said was 4.99% closed the gap, and that what we've presented for future years is the challenge we're setting ourselves. I didn't say 4.99% would be what we did in the future, but that's how it's been written.
If we can make the amendment, it was the closing of the gap, not a target. Thank you. If we can double check on that to make sure it's accurate. Are there any other notes on the minutes from the last Cabinet meeting? No? Well, thank you. Well, notice is done. So, again, good morning. I'd like to welcome everybody to this first Cabinet of the new year, and I would also personally like to offer my thoughts and prayers to Councillor Large, who's away today. I know all of us will pass on our thoughts towards him at this time. The other thing I would say, this is his budget. It was his baby, so he's sorely missed and greatly thought of at this time. There is just one item on today's agenda, but it is arguably the most important annual item of all councils. And that is our budget, the mid-term financial strategy. Now, sharing the details of some of the key investment proposals going forwards. We have huge ambitions for this council, and indeed the county. In 2026 is going to be pivotal in so many ways in delivering the foundations for a stronger Staffordshire. With local government reorganisation now firmly on the horizon, we are determined to stay focused on delivering for the residents and the businesses of Staffordshire as a whole, regardless of any future council structure. We do want to push forward for the government for devolution, not just LGR. Full devolved powers means decisions and funding are made here in Staffordshire. It gives Staffordshire a stronger voice and assurances we are never overlooked again. Last night there was an announcement, and it really is pivotal to that we are never overlooked again. Without any conversation to Staffordshire, the Northern Powerhouse Line was announced again between Birmingham and Manchester, and we were excluded from that conversation. It will come straight through Staffordshire, and we are excluded from the conversation. I'm sorry, that is not good enough. And it is why devolved power gives us that seat at the table, gives us that voice, and it stops us being forgotten again. It really is that important. But back to the MTFS. It is key to realise our wider goals to drive economic growth and attract investments for improved roads, transport connections, and to make Staffordshire the beating heart of the country. It is crucial that we are in good financial shape to deliver this. Today, we'll hear how, thanks to robust management and planning, we are in a strong position to do exactly this. I am proud that we'll be delivering a balanced budget, which is a huge achievement given the financial challenges and positions of many local authorities, including some of our neighbouring authorities. More remarkable is that we are doing so while announcing that Staffordshire County Council tax rise will be lower. And please understand that this rise is lower than expected highest rate increase, which is what most other councils are doing in this country. It is what the government expected. It is what everybody expected. But this is a lower rise, and that is key and must be really announced by the press and everybody else to understand. More remarkable is that we are doing so while announcing that Staffordshire council tax, something I may add, previous administrations had done at the highest rate for the previous 3 years. Actually, it's a bit longer, but there was obviously a COVID period in between that where council tax was slightly different for that year. So in realistic terms, it's 5 years the highest rate. We have lowered that rate increase. Not only are we proposing lower than expected rise in council tax, we are still protecting all frontline services. In fact, we are investing more money into key priorities, such as children's services and improving highways. It's just as we promised. In just 8 months, we have achieved a lot. We have added actually 21.47 million in savings this year, now MTFS going forwards. This proves that Reform UK is more than competent to run a county council effectively and efficiently. More important, in our ability to provide all the services the people of Staffordshire rightly deserve. This is no small feat when you add in national economic burdens, with RPI inflation standing at 3.8%, and the added cost of wage inflation, the increase of living wage, along with the changes to the national insurance, all add up to cost pressures that were not previously forecast at that rate. We still, like all authorities, face a huge care and send cost in the coming years. These extra costs were in the previous MTF's accounts, and these account actually for the jump in debt in 2 years and 3 years' time. It was previously in there. It's a cost that affects all areas of the country. We've seen this with announcements from the County Council Network, who was actually with some of them last night at a meeting in London for UK REAP with all the leaders across the country, many of the leaders. And they stated very clearly again that there are 17 authorities in England that will, because of these extra costs in send costs and care, will become insolvent within 2 years. I'm very pleased to say that Staffordshire is not one of those areas. And even with those added costs, which are in the tens of millions, Staffordshire will remain solvent and able to fund all services. But we are by no means done. Oh no, 2026 is the year we will build on these successes and continue to work our pledge to you to make this council as effective and efficient as possible. It is the year we'll invest in what matters to Staffordshire people and businesses, and the year we'll press on with our ambition to make Staffordshire the beating heart of this country. So believe me, there is much more to come. But now I'll provide some of the detail on the proposed budget. Please note, all these details are in the report that's in front of you, printed today. We are delivering a balanced budget for 26-27, meeting our statutory requirements, continuing to live within our means. We are investing an additional 15 million in our highways, in the capital programme. That will be done over 2 years. Even more importantly, we are also investing 3 million, sorry, wrong page, my apologies. Even more importantly, we're doing this while keeping our council tax rise below the maximum level. Most other councils are applying, sorry, yeah, it is correct. We are doing this while keeping our council tax rise below the maximum level. Most other councils are applying, and I must add, we are achieving this without cutting the frontline services. Our forward plans for this amazing county will bring economic growth to education. No matter where you go to school in Staffordshire, we will make sure that those who are differently abled will not be differently treated. Our safer streets, not only for those headline figures, but the perception of safety in the streets, in our schools and in our homes. More accountability and care for the most vulnerable in society. The focus on value for money with best services across the whole care sector, protecting our most vulnerable from the young children right through to adult care. We will improve connectivity from high-speed fibre to every part of Staffordshire to fixing our roads for the long term, not the old that will do patch job and run. We are investing in our libraries so they are fit and secured for the future. We are looking to expand our colleges and further education hubs across the whole county. Investing and promoting our tourism leisure, the whole out-of-home leisure market, helping the vitally important hospitality sector. And of course, we will be protecting our county farms and future farming, boosting and never forgetting our rural economies, those many villages right across our great county. Add all this to the theme of promoting Staffordshire nationally and globally, telling the world everything our county has to offer now and into the future will surely be making Staffordshire, and I have to say it again, it will be making Staffordshire that beating heart of our country. We are also investing £3 million, rising to £5.5 million in children and families to provide up to 120 additional frontline staff. We have faced pressures from additional demands on services to care for the most vulnerable residents of Staffordshire, and the cost of that care continues to increase, and we are meeting all those demands. The Fairer Funding Review has been implemented and is provided only cash flat funding for Staffordshire. This effectively is a real term cut. Like many local authorities, the SEND services continue to face mounting pressures, which have not been addressed by the government. In the face of these pressures, we have managed to keep council tax increase to just 3.99%, which is less than the government assumes we will be set. Total pressures faced in 26-27 amount to 50 million. And these have not fallen to we have made sure these have not fallen to the council taxpayer. That's why we've made those savings, 21.7 million. The additional funding generated for the council tax is just 24 million, less than half of that extra funding that's required, with the remainder coming from efficiencies, savings, meaning that we can keep the increase in council tax to a minimum. In closing, I'm proud to say that thanks to robust planning and sound management, made possible only by working very closely in partnership with all of Staffordshire County Council staff. I personally mean this when I say this. It's to all our officers and all the staff in there. I mean, they work so hard. It's amazing, the officers from every single department, what they've done here. And it's because of that that we are presenting here today, a balanced budget that is significant achievements when many councils are facing severe financial challenge. And from that, I would like to recommend this to the council. Any questions? Any questions? Patrick.
Hello. This is, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead here or not, it's part of the MTFS questioning really, and Chris Large is not here, so I think this will be directed. Pete could help me with this one. I just want to ask, can I just be clear that none of the strategic review project benefits that have gone into this year's MTFS and that these projects will continue to develop with the view to the savings, especially around the spanner control, will they be carried on to 2027's shortfall?
Pete Shakespeare.
Thank you for the question. So the strategic reviews have commenced. None of the strategic reviews are currently baked into this version of the MTFS. The projects that you've alluded to will be continuing throughout the next 12 months, and we would expect if any efficiencies arise from those strategic reviews, they would be baked into future years' MTFSs, correct?
And just one other one. Regarding the headcount freeze, we currently have an attrition rate of around 8%, and I think the benchmark's been made at 5%. This combined with that spanner control project should see quite significant savings. Will this be fully directed towards the council tax savings in 2027, I just don't want any potential savings to be lost from these projects, because this is why Chris Large wanted them as projects, as we see in the children's and families at the moment.
So workforce efficiencies as we stand at the moment have not been baked into this version of the MTFS. Those savings will be held centrally and a decision will be made by yourselves as Cabinet in future years as to whether they're played into the MTFS.
Thank you. Thank you.
If I may just add, we've only been here, it's now just into our 8th month. We've already made over 20 million in savings. We have baked in these efficiencies and reviews coming forwards that will show further efficiencies later on this year and into next year's budget. These efficiency reviews, we've only just started on all this. There's a lot of savings, and this will be pushed foremost and led by the elected body that the people of Staffordshire gave a mandate to do. And these efficiencies we've started on will continue at full strength in the right places, and guaranteeing no cut to all those essential services alongside. It's very important. The efficiencies will come, and they will come at strength. Councillor Coles.
So thank you, Councillor Murray, and thank you for all the officers for all the hard work they've put into the MTFS. I know we've been going through this for quite a number of months. I think it's just worth underscoring the fact that we have been in 7 months and we haven't gone for the 4.99%, we've gone 1% lower, so it is actually a bit of a saving, and obviously with that we need to look at how we're more effective, so I think it's worth mentioning maybe the 2% precepts, people understand that.
Thank you. It is a saving. I'd like to hear there was obviously, I'd say, fake news only a month back in certain papers that we were cutting library services. No, we're not. Absolutely not. This is your portfolio. Tell us what more we're doing with libraries.
Okay, so since we've took over the administration, you know that I've been trying to understand the services, understand the products that we've got in place, and where we can take them in the future. So as part of that, we've carried out a resident survey, and that hasn't been done for over 10 years. And obviously things move on quite considerably in that time. So it's really about finding out what our residents want, which is what we said, that we'd listen to our residents and taxpayers of Staffordshire. So that's really good. That's come to an end now, so we're collating that information. I will be presenting the strategy at the next full Cabinet for your approval. But it's worth saying that I've also visited a lot of these 43 libraries, and from the big libraries that we actually fund and manage the staff in ourselves, that look beautiful and they work really well. They're a kind of front door service, when many councils are cutting costs and services, they're a really important heart of the community, and many people value them, and that's coming back in the feedback. A lot of the ideas we've discussed with the officers are coming through as well in that survey. So I'm very pleased that the MTFS continues to show that we're going to invest in libraries. We're not going to cut services. We always said we would come in as reform and we'd look at things more effectively. And if you look back at the previous council meetings, I have done that. I've scrutinised where we spend money, if it's spent in the right way, and if we can do that more effectively. So if we do save £1 or 1,000 here, I can then spread that across the 43 libraries, and then everyone can get investment rather than just a few. And also on the false news reporting, yes, last year, I think it was September, there was an FOI. I won't go into detail of that, but it wasn't correct, and the £130,000 of the mobile libraries was put in there. And then obviously, understandably, we've had a lot of people saying, oh no, you're going to cut services, you said you wouldn't. Well, we're not. And I'll put my hand on heart saying that. It was an idea. We said, no, we're not going to do that. I'm actually going to be going out on the mobile library with the team just to see how it works and see how we can improve that. Because at the end of the day, it's residents that can't get to libraries, that don't have that in the rural communities. So just to reassure you, we are scrutinising things. We're looking at every pound. But I'm really pleased that we're going to carry on investing in the libraries.
Thank you. Anybody else? Hands, please. Councillor Mason.
Yeah, I'd like to say just a bit about, the highways element of this, if that's okay. I think, since taking up the role last May, we've worked very hard with the teams to try and develop our forward plans. And we published this before Christmas as our roadmap to a better network. And this is identified how we intend to improve our highways. Now, a key element of that is ensuring that we put more pounds of our budgets in the ground and we spend less on the enabling and the planning and the other elements. So that means we've got to be more efficient, be effective with the money. We have to ensure that we can repair more of our roads. I'm pleased that this MTFS demonstrates that by working with the teams, we've identified a range of efficiencies. That's freed up enough revenue for us to fund an investment of 15 million of capital into our network over the next 2 years, in addition to any monies and grants that we've received. This money specifically is going to be used to start to tackle the backlog. And the backlog is a big problem. There's a big backlog of potholes that are awaiting repairs. This backlog has built up over decades, over years and decades. It's not something that's just suddenly magically appeared. Our colleagues are probably aware, we repair urgent defects to meet our legal obligations, but those less urgent defects tend to, and have been for many years, left and allowed to wait for months. In fact, the Category 3 defects, mean time to repair timescale is well in excess of 400 days at the moment. We know how frustrating this is for residents, particularly in areas where more serious defects do get fixed, but we leave behind the more minor defects, even though we've been in the area. Not only is it annoying to have to keep driving around them, actually leaving them to get worse is just bad asset management. It's just not a good way to go about doing business. So this investment helps deliver one of our wider ambitions in the roadmap, which is to move towards geographical whole road repairs rather than chasing individual potholes. It's about asset management. By addressing the backlog, it will support our new asset management approach. This is a plan, and now it's a funded plan, to stop the slide and turn the tide. It's a phrase I've used a lot. We have decades of getting to where we are. Our plan is to fix our roads, save our structures, and address the backlog. They are the three key things in our map for the future. We cannot address decades of underfunding and short-term decisions overnight. But this funded 2026-27 MTFS is the year we start the journey along that roadmap. Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, it showed our commitment from the start. It's why instantly in our first year we're adding an extra 15 million. This is structural change, not a quick patch, fix and move on. That will last for future generations. It will long-term bring savings because of future repairs. It is not repairing the same pothole 6 or 7 times. Thank you. Councillor Cecil.
Sorry, I'm going to bring something that's a little off subject, but with the recent cold snap and snowfall, we received a lot of feedback over the last week regarding the winter maintenance schedule. How are we going to address these concerns?
Yes, we have had a lot of concerns and feedback. What I'll start by saying is we inherited a winter programme approach, and we've worked with that the same as previous years. Each year those plans are reviewed, and they were reviewed around September last year. Based on previous year's outcomes, we continued with the existing plan. And of course, this will be reviewed again this year as part of our preparations going forward. The new year did see a rather prolonged and rather cold period followed by a snow event. And that circumstance will always be challenging no matter what. Temperatures got down really low into those kind of temperatures where gritting and that can become slightly less effective. However, the output numbers across our primary and secondary routes for the period from the 1st of January to the 11th of January, inclusive, are rather impressive, and it's worth understanding them. The total network length treated is over 60,250 kilometres, or to put it in another way, the equivalent of almost 10 times around our entire network. Now, we don't grit all the roads, but the primary and secondary routes form about 40% of our network. So the total de-icing salt we put on those roads in 11 days is the equivalent of about, nearly 7,000 tonnes, which is equivalent to about 2,000 tonnes per kilometre over those 11 days. And finally, the teams have worked nearly 5,000 hours in those 11 days, which is the equivalent of 55 people full-time out there de-icing and trying to keep Staffordshire moving. I think that's an impressive record by anybody's measure. Those teams have worked incredibly hard around the clock in challenging conditions. They deserve all our thanks for their dedication and for just going above and beyond and keeping Staffordshire moving.
Thank you. I must say I was disappointed with some press and certain people's comments about this. They took advantage of a 10-year storm following a programme that they themselves had set. And they did not give acknowledgement to the hard work, but it also could add a fear complex to some people who really needed services. We made sure it was done. There were plenty of pre-meetings when we knew these storms were coming to put in processes. We do not need fear-mongering when these storms, 10-year storms, are coming along. And let's be fair, we're infamously known for a centimetre of snow and we come to a grinding halt. It's been a standard joke of this country by the world for many, many decades now. But the accolade to our highway staff needs to be acknowledged because they did work tirelessly and they did a fantastic job in very extreme conditions. So for me personally, to all of the highways, to all those involved and all those in care sectors that went out and doing the extra mile to help those during that storm, I would personally say thank you. Councillor Coles.
It's just a question to Councillor Mason, actually. It's probably worth mentioning the percentage that you cover compared with other councils, and also just for the general public to understand, as we discussed, how that grip works and if it hasn't been driven on.
Yes. On average, we cover about 43% of the entire highways network, and that's probably one of the best, if not the best, and largest achievements across the country. 30 to 40% is the average. Most are down near 30. In terms of the reality is, grit isn't a magic dust. It doesn't melt snow. It doesn't just create perfect conditions. It needs to be activated. It needs to be made into a solution. It then lowers the freezing point of water to about -8. So you need traffic over it. And of course, if it's cold and people stay at home and you don't get those traffic volumes, it takes longer for it to activate and for those conditions to improve. And we saw temperatures down -9, -10 and below. It becomes slightly less efficient because below -8, it's struggling to actually make a solution and get that temperature up above that freezing point. So there were challenges, and there will always be challenges. No matter how much we grit, we'll never create perfect road conditions in those kind of storms and those kind of temperatures. But I think what was achieved was actually a testament to a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication by the teams involved.
Thank you. Martin.
Hi, thank you, Chair, and good morning, everyone. I'd like to just share what Health and Care have contributed to the MTFS. As we know that demand for adult social care is growing, our ageing population and younger adults with complex needs deserve the best, absolutely best support. Raising costs, including increases in national living wage and inflation, make this a challenge, especially in our area of health and care. But we are committed to ensuring every pound is used wisely while maintaining high quality care. That means improving the way we assess and review care plans, making sure support is person-centred, effective, thus strengthening assurance of assessments and support plans, both for adults new to care and then reviewing existing care packages and placements. We are also applying our choice policy to keep care home placements affordable and fair without compromising standards, and fair across the board. These steps will help us protect vital services for those who need them most. I'd just like to say a huge thank you to our Resolute Health and Care teams, both within the Council and at Midlands Partnership NHS Foundation Trust, for their tireless work to make the MTFS happen. Together we are building a system that works for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. It's what we said. We'd always look after the most needy, most vulnerable in society. This is exactly what we are doing again, and we've funded it and protected it, and will continue to do so. Councillor Screen.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, colleagues. I think today we take a very important step forward for Staffordshire. This MTFS is more than just numbers for me. It's a statement of intent. And for the first time, we have a dedicated community safety portfolio. And this budget shows our determination to protect and strengthen every part of the county. We're investing where it matters most in children's services, creating opportunities that steer young children and people away from antisocial behaviour and towards positive futures. In libraries, we're transforming them into vibrant community hubs that bring people together and build stronger connections. In our highways, delivering improvements that make our transport network more reliable and resilient for everyone who travels across Staffordshire. And we're delivering real results. Within my portfolio, we move from words to action. Our trading standards teams have taken decisive steps, closing premises that sell illegal goods and counterfeit goods. This marks a significant change. Not a single closure occurred in 2024. And that's before we came into the administration. Yet today we are actively dismantling criminal supply chains and restoring confidence in Staffordshire's high streets. And looking ahead, Cabinet will soon approve Staffordshire's first community safety strategy, a bold integrated plan that embeds responsibility across every portfolio. This is not just my priority, it's a shared commitment from all of us. And I just want to say again and repeat this, that thank you to all the officers who have helped. It's been amazing, the work that they've done, and they're a credit to the people of Staffordshire. Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, it really is important. It's what we meant when we said cleaner streets. It wasn't clean the street. It's to make you feel safe. The perception of safety is equal important to actually crime statistics. And going forward with devolution, as I mentioned earlier, we have to rewrite a crime strategy and bring it all in for this process. And this work that our new cabinet role will see forward will bring in a structure, a process that represents and puts the safety of every resident to every part of society across every area of Staffordshire and Stoke. And I want to thank you, and this work will be groundbreaking going forwards. Really look forward to this coming forwards. Thank you. Councillor Lakin.
Yes, thank you, and Happy New Year to everybody. Like everybody in the cabinet, and I'm sure the reform members and our council taxpayers, we would have all loved to have seen a larger reduction in the council tax. However, we have to be pragmatic. We have to understand the difficulties that exist. This MTFS is an investment in essential services going forward, and without those investments, we wouldn't even be standing still. We wouldn't be dealing with the backlogs that we've inherited. So, like Councillor Mason said there, the investment going forward will reduce the issues that currently exist. And in children and families, we have to remember that some of the most vulnerable individuals in the county are within the children and families portfolio. And this MTFS has produced a an investment of 3 million next year, rising to 5.5 million into children's services, children and family services. That will provide essential support for the integrated front door, for social care and for care leavers, and for the send and inclusion aspect of children and families. We've already reduced a backlog of 400 send cases to zero in the time that we've been in administration. A big tick, but going forwards, the additional money that's going to be invested will produce even better results. We've got to welcome also the additional government funding that comes in for the Family First programme. That will better enable us to and safeguarding partners across the county to produce better results again for our children and families. The investment will help us, or will certainly assist in being committed to reducing children in care within Staffordshire. We will have a reduction, hopefully. That's the aim of children in care, which again will bring about savings in the long term. So that investment now in children and families in the future will reduce the number of children in care, which ultimately reduces the budget for or the cost of children and families. And again, within children and families, we'll endeavour to continue to drive through efficiencies to absorb the ongoing growth in the send transport entitlement. Wherever possible, we'll reduce that cost. Yes, we would all love to have a larger reduction in the council tax, but we have to be realistic, pragmatic, and 3.99% for me is a fantastic result with the investment that we've already managed to make for the coming 12 months and beyond.
Thank you. I mean, it's so important that we protect all vulnerable people, even more so as children. And this whole process is a great example. And I don't think many people understand what happens in county council and cabinets, that we have what's called informal cabinet meetings, where we privately discuss with all officers, relevant organisations and people, and really bang out the detail to find the best solutions. And this is one that got knocked around quite a bit. And we have found such a fantastic solution. It really is something that I am very, very confident in, that within this year we're going to start seeing the benefits already. Within this 1 year from this investment, from this new programme, from the work, it's not what we do here as politicians, but the work what other councillors do, all the social service teams do, all the partners do within this. And this is important. I mean, this is just vitally important on a moral level, and it's why we do it. And it does cost money, but it's worth it. Every single penny of it is worth it. And it's worth our effort, and it's why many of us came here in the first place. So I want to thank all the team for all their hard work with this. And I'm really personally proud of this piece of work and what will come forward from it. Thank you. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to say? Oh, Councillor Minders.
Thank you very much, Chair. I would like to say thank you and discussing the MTFS, the £840 million spend. Very interesting how it's split across the various segments that we manage with all of the council officers, and this time of year all of the residents of Staffordshire looking at the money and how it's being spent. Moving forward into Q1 2026 for us, I think we're looking at the environmental strategy and how we apply that, and also the local transport strategy. I would also like to highlight of what we have said about Staffordshire, how they overlap, how they interact. It's noted in the documents here. We hope it's picked up by the press that Staffordshire has a record number of 150 entries for the Tourism Awards this year, and there's a 43% increase in first-time entrants. And there's about 2.7 billion worth of business supporting 25,000 jobs in Staffordshire. I hope to spend more time going up to North Staffordshire to look what we're doing with flood resilience and supporting people in North Staffordshire. It's a beautiful place, many reservoirs. Yesterday I was down at the Lichfield Transport Depot where Amy had about 10 gritters ready to go out, looking at the flood resilience team, looking at their software, looking at the granularity of flooding and risks that we have in Staffordshire. And there was about 7 or 8 projects ongoing there. Some have already been completed, and that was very interesting for me. So it's the overlap of how we're working together as a cabinet team, working together with all of the officers and teams in Staffordshire County Council, even working together with Staffordshire Borough Council. There's a Staffordshire Sustainability Board. Moving forward with environmental crime, we think is very important too, is that's coming forward, looking at the timeline for what we're going to use for the crime and working through pulling it into other portfolios. So I'd like to highlight there is overlap of our portfolios. It's very interesting how we're working together, putting that money into road repairs and proper plans, and looking forward to having a good year working together with the people of Staffordshire, all going out to all of the parish council officers, feedback from the communities, and I really do hope the documents that are available for the public to read, they find their way into A-level courses, into teachers, to really have a look at what we're doing and how money's spent, and understanding that granularity. I think it's very important. It's real time, it's live, it's very factual. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you. You highlighted a brilliant point there. And it is the difference that we're seeing today. Excuse me. It's the peripheral vision we all as cabinet leads, our supporters, our other councils look at. We do not sit on that tightrope of sticking our lane. We are seeing the interaction, the consequence of one involves with the other. When education falls, when our employment levels rise, when our health conditions drop, it will affect crime, and crime goes up. Those other goals increase every single time. When our connectivity is not working correctly in our roads, it will affect business. They all interact, we all interact together. It's of one hive together, and that's how we are now all starting to work. To say we have done this within 8 months is something I think we should all be very proud of. And again, I would like to personally thank every single officer, all the staff that work, that we have yet to meet, all those faceless people that work tirelessly day after day to provide the services we all need, require and deserve and pay for. It's a great accolade to all of them. It's a great MTFS we have delivered in this time, actually with huge savings in such a short period, with more to come and more investment for Staffordshire. Does anyone else like to raise a point before I put this forward for a vote? So I'd like to propose for this to go forwards, this proposal. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Well, thank you. Any other business? Well, thank you very much. And at that, I will cause our first MTFS, our budgetary cabinet, and our first meeting of the year to a close. I want to thank you all again. Bye.